I can guarantee you this is the best vanilla cake recipe you are ever going to try. It's Phil's recipe. Look at Phil. He's a professional, so he knows what he's doing. We're going to start with unsalted butter and we're going to add in the beans from a fresh vanilla pod. Just melt that down over a low heat, then let it cool for about 5 minutes. Into a bowl, whisk together your dry ingredients. We've got sugar, baking powder, and cake flour. Here's why I use cake flour, because unsurprisingly, it's made for cakes, but it has a lower protein content, which means less gluten development, which means you get a softer crumb to your cake. On top of that, we pour our wet ingredients. We've got eggs, oil, and milk. And just use a hand whisk to pull that together. And finally, we go in with that gorgeous vanilla butter. Then you're gonna weigh 410 grams of batter per tin. And we go into the oven to bake. When they come out of the oven, flip them onto a wire rack and just look at the color of that sponge. And while they're still warm, we're gonna add on a vanilla soaking syrup. While the cakes are still warm, we're going to wrap them tightly in cling film. And that's just going to lock in all that moisture. We're going to put them in the fridge overnight. We are going to fill this cake with a Swiss meringue buttercream, so I've got egg whites and sugar. Place that onto a pan of gently simmering water. We're going to whisk that constantly until it reaches about 65 degrees C. Then take it off the heat. We're going to whisk for about 7 to 10 minutes until it's cool to the touch. Once the bowl is cool to the touch, then you're going to add in softened butter. And finally, once you've added in all your butter, add in some vanilla and then just keep mixing until it's smooth. I've trimmed the top of my cake layers and all we're going to do is stack this up, filling it with buttercream and jam. I'm dolloping on a relatively even layer of buttercream, then just spreading out as best as I can, and then I'm going to add the jam on top of that. And when you've got a relatively even crumb coat, put it in the freezer for 15 minutes. I'm going to go around the cake with one more layer of buttercream. We're going to finish it with a quick chocolate drip. We're going to melt butter and chocolate. And that is just the classic, elegant vanilla cake. That's professional.